Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Touchline podcast. Thank you very much for joining. Please do all to subscribe, turn your notification bell, comment, like, share, and on Facebook, click on the follow button, comment, like, and share as well. I am Joel, and I'm here with
Defla, your regular co-host.
Defla Charlie Halfa.
We did. This week, the week has been interesting. A lot of football, lots of games,
Mm,
and we are here to give our
sure.
insights and discuss some of the games.
Another week of lots of action,
Yeah,
and let's wish our country Independence Day. Abi, say today be Yeah, today
Happy
is Ghana's
Independence Day to
Independence
Ghana.
Day. Yeah, in our country, the country Ghana is 68 years old.
Yeah,
68 years old. But let's shift to sports in Ghana. I mean, looking at the history of football, where would you place Ghana on the continent? Looking at the contribution that it has given to the continent and then the world at large.
well, Ghana, like you cannot talk about African football without talking about Ghana. So yeah, Ghana is one of like the biggest nations when it comes. Even though our size, we are very small, but when it comes to football on the continent, we are a big deal. And I think Ghana was one of the teams who like one of the teams that really started this AFCON thing. The AFCON we've all come to love. Yeah, so Ghana have won the AFCON 4 times. Even though in recent history we haven't won it yet, but it's still not easy to win the AFCON 4 times. Um, yeah, so even when it comes to club football, our two main biggest club teams in
Rivals.
Ghana, yeah, they've all won the African Champions League. Hearts have won
So
it
so talking of
once,
yeah,
Kotoko have
talking
won
of
it
the
twice. And so,
Yeah. So talking of the contributions to world football and African football at large. When we come to the national side, as you made mention, we've won the AFCON 4 times. That is the African Cup of Nations tournament
yeah,
that is being hosted in Africa every 2 years. We've been able to win it on 4 occasions. So on a national level, you can say Ghana is on the map.
yes, definitely.
Yeah, based even looking at the track record, the number of trophies won throughout this tournament.
Yes,
And then
even
let's talk about the world stage.
yeah, I was even
Okay,
going to say even with
carry
the
on.
world stage. Every time Ghana has been to the World Cup, we've performed well. Well, we've
Exactly.
gotten out of our group um, twice, and two
Yeah.
times we couldn't make it out. But even every time we go to the World Cup, at least we manage to win a game. That's
Or two,
or two. If we can't, I think it was only
a
Brazil.
game and a draw,
Yeah, I think it was only
2014.
Brazil that we didn't win a game in 2014. I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the only tournament. But even we all our games, if you check all our games, it was close. We Portugal won against
We
us
drew
2-1.
against
We
yeah,
drew
we drew
against
against
Germany
Germany.
2-2.
Yeah.
Then
And that was a tough match. That was one of our best
yeah,
performance.
I think one of
FIFA
the
ranked it as one of the best game
best games in the
of the
tournament.
competition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we I think we lost our first game 2-1 to United States.
exactly. Yeah.
Just the
So
last,
we can go on, yeah, we can go on and on and
yeah,
give.
yeah,
I mean, so many,
yeah.
so many, even at the world stage. Even
Even
we can talk of the Qatar 2020.
under 20 World Cup, Ghana is the only African
Exactly.
country
So
to have won the World Cup
I was coming there.
at that level.
So even at the juvenile level, you can make mention of the country Ghana, the only country from Africa to have won the under 20
Yeah,
World Cup. You can make mention of the under 17 World Cup.
yeah,
And even before we won after we had won the under 20 World Cup, our performances afterwards, that is the subsequent under 20 World Cups, we performed very well.
yeah,
There was one we were able to get to the, last four. I think last four, France were able
yeah,
to beat us in the semi-finals. That is Pogba and Varani's
yeah,
time. They are the period here. Pogba, yeah, they were able to beat us in the semi-finals. So when you look at all fronts, at the national level, on the African continent, on the world stage, that is the World Cup, you can see our performances has been up there. Now, let's come to the club sides too as well. On the African stage, we can make mention of, some interesting commentary. We can give some interesting commentaries on the club side in African football as well.
yeah. When it comes to African football, like the club sides, I think Kotoko has a really good history in the CAF tournament. Hearts of Oak has a very good history in the CAF tournament as well. I think even with the Confederations Cup, I think it was the first time, the fair when they introduced it in the first year. Kotoko and Haas made the final that year, and Haas of Oak won it, of course, on penalties. And Kotoko has won the African Cup, the African Champions League twice. Haas of Oak has won it once. Like at a certain point in time, Ghana was really dominating when it comes to African club football because Kotoko were
Yeah,
making it at a point in the early 80s or 70s
yeah,
there. Kotoko was
yeah,
always almost making it to at least the semi-final or the quarterfinals of the Champions League and
yeah.
all that.
So
And
viewers,
early
before we
2000s,
continue, hold on, Defla.
yeah,
Before we continue, we are only giving you a breakdown of the country Ghana. Our achievements and our contribution to African football and then world football at large. So when you hear us make mention of some of these clubs, Asante Kotoko is a local club in Ghana. And then that of Accra Hearts of Oak is also a local club in Ghana. These are the two top clubs in the country. And as my colleague here, or as Defla said, when you talk of the top competitions in club football in Africa, we can talk of the Champions League and we can make mention of the Confederations Cup. And there was a moment that these two clubs from this same country called Ghana met at the final of one competition. It is very unusual, Defla,
yeah,
for two clubs from the same country to be in the finals.
yeah. It hasn't happened a lot of times. I think the only time
Yeah,
it has
it
happened
doesn't.
is I think Zamalek and El Hali. I think yes.
Yeah,
If
but
I'm
but it is very unusual.
It's
Yeah,
very unusual. It's very unusual for that to happen. So it's only a handful of countries, very small number of countries have been able to produce two teams in the same competition in the final on the African
yeah,
continent. So it's very rare.
yeah.
And let me state for a fact that even when it comes to Olympics, the Olympics Ghana was the first African country to medal in football in 1992.
Oh,
Ghana was the first African country to get a medal at the Olympic Games in football. Even though after that, Cameroon and Nigeria have won the gold, but Ghana paved the way. We met, in fact, I think we met the most talented Brazilian team at that time. And
yeah,
I think they beat us in the semi-final also. Yeah. So
sure,
if you
sure.
look at football from the African continent, you cannot talk about African football without Ghana.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
on
Yeah,
our
exactly. That is the
birthday,
point.
it's
That's the point.
just clear
We
to
exactly.
to
And
for
even
everybody to
and
see.
even coming we can go on and on, give so many instances. Talk of women football.
Yes.
Ghana has also been there.
Yeah.
Even club wise,
Yeah.
Ghana was, we there was the I think some few years ago they started African Women's
Women's
Champions
Champions
League,
League. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, and we were the first country with a team from South Africa, that is Mamelodi Sundowns women's team against Hazakes ladies. I mean, to feature.
yeah,
So we were the first. I mean, a club from Ghana and a club from South Africa met in the Women's Champions League final. So we can give so many instances. We can make mention of our under 20 women's football, under 17 women's football, the mark they have made on the continent Africa and then at the world stage as
yeah.
well. It is very important for us to make this note on this special day for our viewers to understand that when it comes to football, it's I mean it's a big business in Ghana, and Ghana is a household name. I can confidently say is a household name when it comes to football in Africa and even the world at large. I mean, let's talk about our players too, the kind of players we've been able to produce. We can go back to so many years. We can mention the legendary Abedi Pele, who is popularly known in France, Marseille. Is known, I mean, all around the world. The father of Didier Ayew and that of Jordan Ayew. You can make mention of Michael Essien. You can talk of Sule Aliu Muntari, and you can talk of the popular Baby Jet Asamoah. So there are so many things we can make mention when it comes to football. I mean, in Africa, and frankly enough, we produce some of the top talents too in the world.
Oh, like when it comes to talent, Ghana is really. You can talk about the Tony Yeboahs, Abedi Peles, the Asians, the Stephen
Yeah,
Appiahs,
Connors.
like the Otuados, like
Exactly.
the players
Class.
they are like they are uncountable. You can name a lot.
See, even our local players, you can make mention of so many players. We can talk
A
of,
lot
I
of
think,
players.
Kotoko had players like TV3. I
Yeah,
mean, a defender called TV3. House of Folk,
you
you can
have
mention Dankwe.
yeah,
Like, Charlie, when you talk of like players, and even it got to a point in time, these House of Folk and Kotoko, they were those making up the national team. Oh.
yeah. I think
Like, they were
in a
those.
match against Nigeria, we fielded a full team of Hasselhoff players. I think
Exactly. Do you
yeah,
get? Yeah. So talent wise, I mean, we are up there as well. So this is basically some few things that we can make mention of the country called Ghana. The country called Ghana. Ghana. I mean, Ghana is a very beautiful country. It's a very beautiful and a nice place to be. Yeah, Ghana is a very beautiful country. All right. So let's